Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station KZAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Lab, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. And I am your hashtag positively opinionated host here for 646 consecutive weeks. Today is show podcast number 1,230. Who's counting? So glad to be here, still here. They said I wouldn't last. That a show that didn't talk about anything that anyone else is talking about. Not because I'm sticking my head in the sand to ignore it, but I'm sticking my hand in the sand so I pop out into the balance of what life is. And there's just as many, if not more, good things happening in the world, good things happening around us, inside of us, that is wrong. So you have plenty of other places to tune in where if you want to hear about the shooting or the natural disasters or the things that, yes, are happening and yes, they are concerning. But if we focus on something that we really don't feel good in focusing on, and we keep talking about it, and then we complain about it, and then we rant about it, and especially if there are things that you cannot control, then you know what? You feel like shiitake. And this is a show where I encourage you not to feel like shiitake 88% of the time. Instead, I want you to be happy 88% of the time and claim your birthright to happiness, which I do, even when bad things happen to good people. Life, that is life. It's not horrible. It's not perfect, but it's 88% fabulous. And that's my Kool-Aid. Thanks for tuning in. Today is Monday, and that means it's Mental Health Matters Mondays, and that's the day where I don't have a guest. I don't have a co-host. This is I've left one day where I get to speak with you on those things on my heart and on my mind and give you a piece of my mind, PEACE. And today's topic, in case you did not get the promo on my Instagram, it's under Doc Balance, not Dr. Marissa, and everywhere else it is Dr. Marissa. But if you just use my assistant Google, you'll find me on all the platforms. The topic for today is, let me check. I'm having a big brother, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith moment. when you speak a lot and there's a lot of great things to address, you kind of forget what you decided for today. The promo is, are you your own worst critic? Are you your own worst coach? Are you hurting your own success because of your worst insecurities? And certainly that belongs in the whole category of mental health. Sometimes we think mental health is only about people who are in facilities or people who have had a nervous breakdown. If I use a term from the past, I think all of us have had some kind of a mini or major breakdown at some point in life because, as I mentioned, life is lifing, as I've heard said, or, there are things that happen in life that are unavoidable, uncontrollable. Some are tragedies, some are horrible things that happen, but we all have them to various degrees. And whoever told us, life is a box of chocolates without ones that we're not thrilled with eating, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, is really leading us down a path for disappointment in life. So life is about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it is about how do we, even when the ugly and the bad happen, care for ourselves, soothe ourselves, loves ourselves into a place where we can have unconditional happiness regardless of the condition, not always faking it, but feeling our feelings fully and then choosing better feelings, thoughts, so we can get out of that. And that's been my message for many, many years. And I will continue. Just got another message from someone who was thanking me for, they know that anytime they're not feeling their normal, good feeling selves, they just have to either pick up and listen to one of my past 1,230 podcasts and or tune in live as you are now. Thanks for tuning in. I see the eyeballs rolling in, as well as, go to my social, Doc Balance again on Instagram, where this is my practice. This is my hashtag Blisscipline, is to try to be as positive as possible. Not for you, first and foremost, but for myself. So that is the drill for today. We are going to start as usual with breakfast. This is part of the tool. This is your number one Happy 88 tool for caring for your own mental health. When you wake up in the morning, please do not do this. I call it MS, meaningless scrolling. If you want to help yourself out, plug your phone in somewhere else so that in the morning you're not tempted to pick that up and do that. Sometimes I do that. I know I'm supposed to practice what I teach, and I do most of the time, but that's why the show is called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. But I absolutely love the fact that every single morning that I'm on with you, weekday morning, I get to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So please do that with me right now. If you are driving and listening to the AM 1050 FM 106.5 side for KCAA NBC News Radio, then please do not type in the chat. But if you are sitting somewhere and can safely do that, put your gratitudes in the chat and I'll put them up on the screen. Top of the bun, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. What do you appreciate outside of yourself? Bottom of the bun. What do you appreciate inside of yourself, about yourself? So here we go. I am grateful that for the most part this weekend, I was able to be happy most of the time, even though Friday the 13th, after the show, on my way to mom and dad's, going to have bringing chicken and pork to have their new caretaker make chicken and pork adobo. I was so excited, came out of the ramp in my building and boom, got in an accident. Thank goodness neither one of us were. I was shook. She was in a Jeep. I'm in my little Mazda Miata. So Panda got boo-booed, and today's going to be dealing with all of that after effect. But hey, IJM, it's just money. Accidents happen. Nobody did this on purpose. So you know what? I can still be happy, and I can still be grateful that there's car mechanics, there's car auto body, there's people that can help fix this, that I know how to make the money that's going to pay for this, that we weren't on the freeway. So those are some of the tools that I always use. And I'm grateful that not only is there a solution, and today it's just like a endless line of people to call, but I reminded myself this morning, there is a solution. And I can stomp my feet for a little bit when I get mad and upset at myself, upset at the situation, but I can also take a breath and treat it like a puzzle. I love puzzles. Maybe I'll do that, one of those. I'm land bound until I figure out the car insurance. I'm sorry, the car rental. But I also took it as a chance to look at the schedule. I don't have a lot of external appointments. I have a lot of writing to do between preparing for the class I'm teaching at UCLA in a couple of weeks, preparing for the trip to Canada, preparing for, I'm writing a screenplay called Life by a Thousand Cuts. I'm in a new project with a new friend, and we're doing not a screenplay. We're putting a treatment and a pitch deck together for a new series that will be pitching to the majors about swiping. And I won't give you any more than that for now. I'm grateful that I have things to do at home, so not having a car is not going to be a big deal. The bottom of the bun. What do I like about myself? What am I grateful for? I appreciate that I know how to pivot, that I know how to cajole myself into better feeling thoughts. I know how to focus. I had a great ride with an Uber driver that I took to my mahjong game or tournament yesterday. And he was from Nigeria, and he is starting his new job as I think he said software engineer. He's an engineer of some kind. He used to teach physics in Nigeria. He came here, had to start all over, worked in security, driving an Uber, and this is his last weekend. Congratulations to you. But I loved meeting him. I wouldn't have met him if I were driving, just as an example, and how he pointed out that, America can bring the best out of us and the worst out of us. It's our choice. And I've been yelling at you, trying to get you to drink the Kool-Aid for a long time now, my entire career, that we determine how we look at things. So choice, is the CH word, is the most important tool we have in life. We can choose what we focus on. And I love it when I can find data that does not confirm the stupid stereotypes out there that I'm sure I'm not the only one who has heard about Nigeria. And I loved the fact that from now on, when I think Nigeria, I'm not going to think about the stupid things that the media puts out there, their headlines, so to speak. Those of you are saying to me, but Dr. Marissa, those are true, right? Stereotypes are based on facts to a certain extent. And then, we take that to a fault, literally. Most stereotypes are negative, if not 98% of them. We don't have to. There's other good stereotypes. There are other good group differences we can focus on instead of the negative ones. So anyways, I appreciate my ability to focus on the things that make me smile and laugh and go, oh, that's so cool, instead of those things that go, what is wrong with people? And the world is just crazy right now. No. There are parts of the world that are crazy, and then there are parts of the world that are amazing, and all of the solution out there. All right. So there's your positive Kool-Aid. Let me take a soothing sip of my coffee. Oh. I appreciate my ability to savor life. I took someone to one of my favorite restaurants in Seal Beach, Mahe's, shout out. Who, like, the sushi is amazing. And I made him close his eyes, not talk in that first piece of the tataki wrap and the mahe roll and all night long, and just savor. And I do this to anybody who's ever had a meal with me. And because I think we miss out these days with instant food, instant time, scrolling and reading and Googling at the same time that we're eating, and we totally miss out on the flavor of really good food. Or we're thinking about something when we're looking at beautiful things and we miss out again. One of my favorite sayings is, living in the worried prattle of your head is like sitting in front of the Grand Canyon, which we all know is beautiful. To me, Sedona is even more beautiful, the Red Rocks, sitting in front of something beautiful, but having a paper bag over your head. And that sucks. I don't want to live my life like that. So there's your tool for, one of the things that I urge you to do is to harness those voices in your head. So when the voices start, well, what about this? And what about that? And whose fault was it in the accident? And, how much is this going to cost? Da, 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 da. You just, that's worry, right? That's not who you are. Those are worried thoughts. So you take a breath and you go balance centered, and then you choose what to say. It's okay, I know, but accidents happen. So there's an active example of the solution, one of the solutions to how do we get out of that worry prattle of our head? How do we get out of that worst critic? All right. Anything else that I appreciate? I appreciate my love for laughter, playing with a new group of Mahjong ladies, and they were also complimenting me on how fun it was to play with me, because I love to play with words. I love to make people laugh, because laughter is my favorite sound on the planet. So those are the things that I like about myself. I hope you can find 8 things that you like about yourself. If you can't, work on it. This is an exercise I want you to do before you go to bed tonight. Instead of thinking about all the things that you did wrong, who done me wrong, no wonder you can't sleep. So instead, think about the things, the compliments that you've gotten, the things that you like about yourself. And if you don't like yourself, you're in the right place. We're going to work on that today. All right. And that is it for the taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich for this morning. Monday, Mental Health Matters Mondays. Here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. We're going to take a quick break for news and weather, which has been nice and cool lately. Don't go away. We'll be back in 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery used to say. I'll say we'll be back. Peace in, peace out. Don't go away. After a word from our sponsors, news and traffic. And it's Dr. Marissa about to report live on the red carpet of the 25th Newport Beach Film Festival, October 17th through 24th. And I'm, again, the proud sponsor of the Chinese Spotlight film, and I get to give away free passes to the Pacific Showcase, which highlights and celebrates all things Asian film, food, and fun. So tune into my show, Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, to find out how to win passes for the Asian Oprah giveaway, as well as the promo code. So you can get discount tickets at www.newportbeachfilmfest.com. We'll see you there soon.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, and Rumble, and my show Central, my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,230 shows, but who's counting? And if you free subscribe, you will get access to all of that, plus my red carpet playlist, which includes interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, The Temptations, Priscilla Presley, so many other, Richard Dreyfuss, who's in the Wolverine, Wesley Snipes. So just feel free to go peruse that if you want to see me flashing peace with all of those people and more. Pierce Brosnan. Go to my website, drmarissa.life, which reminds me, today's Asian Oprah giveaway is an audiobook copy of my #1 best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. If you are allergic to I shouldn't say that. If you love self-help books, well, this one's self-help on steroids. So you get a free audio copy if you are here on Mondays. That's my regular giveaway. So just go to drmarissa.life and let me know. All the people that sign in on Mondays, I know, want a copy of that. And also, this is #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much for making that so. And also, I am giving away tickets to, thanks to my Thursday co-host, I am giving away 2 tickets to The Civility of Albert Cashier. It is a musical. You heard on Thursday, if you were here for our Straight Talk. It's a show that is up, I think it's in the Colony Theater, and I have 2 tickets to give away. This performance schedule is, let's see, I don't know why this is. It looks like it has passed, but I know that it goes till September 22nd. I was looking at the wrong place. So if you would like a pair of those tickets for my additional Asian Oprah giveaway, just go to drmarissa.life and let me know. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. And those of you who've just tuned in, I see the eyeballs rolling in now. The topic is something that I'm actually going to be teaching this fall at UCLA. Those of you who were my students when I was a professor there in the Anderson Graduate School of Management, if you want a refresher, you can take this. You do not have to be a student there. You can actually take this. It's a part of a management series. I'll pop that up in a second, but that's why we are talking about this, because I love being inspired. I love meditating and then getting a delivery from my UPS man, my universal power source. And this last year, it dawned on me, literally, it dawned on me at dawn that this whole idea of personal and professional mastery. So, people, if they don't feel good, they go to a doctor physically. If they don't feel good mentally, they go to a therapist or a psychologist, and there's relief there. Those who don't do that sometimes go to numbers. But this whole notion of how we hurt ourselves, how we are so hard on ourselves. It's part of my motivational speaking talk that I've been doing for the last 20 plus years. And I'll ask, how many of you are your own worst critic? And almost if not, honestly, I don't even remember of the hundreds of thousands of people that I've had the privilege of speaking to over the last 20 plus years. I have not yet met anyone who does not raise their hand. And yet we don't talk about this. Like, we don't talk about it as it relates to our success at work. We don't talk about it as it relates to leadership development. We talk about learning content. We talk about emotional intelligence. And I have to give it to, my field, organizational psychology, for beginning to do that. I give credit to my honorable moniker, Oprah. I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. That's where that came from, by my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's a good friend of Oprah's, and was on her Super Soul Sunday series many, many times. But I credit her for bringing the whole notion of ourselves into TV. So we're not watching Jerry Springer and looking at the worst in people. We're actually talking about our own feelings and our own reactions to both tragedy and life and success. And I just feel like I'm taking this to the next level. I'm not sure other people are doing this, but I do know that at universities in business school, universities in finance, universities that teach all the content area, do not talk about how you can be successful in and of yourself, battling your own barriers. So that's why I pitched this to the program. When I was invited to teach, they had another idea of what I would be teaching. And I said, with all due respect, that's like old stuff. We need to start talking about how no matter what no matter how much content that you are an expert in, if you are not the boss of you with respect to how you see yourself, how you credit yourself, how you support yourself, how you coach yourself, how you beat yourself up, how you criticize yourself, how you don't act on your own behalf, then it doesn't matter what you know content-wise. It doesn't even matter if emotionally intelligent means you know how to talk to other people. If you're still coming from that place of I'm not good enough, or if you're still coming into that place where I don't deserve this, if you're still coming from that place of I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, then we're never going to be successful. Even if we do make a lot of money, even if we do have fame and fortune. Look at Anthony Bourdain, Kate Spade, Robin Williams, the list goes on. Those people who had what we think is going to make you go, oh, I love my life. I got it. I'm successful. We're good. I've reached that pinnacle. How many people do you know that are really there? How many people do you know, on the other hand, who know what they need to do? They know what they need to say. They know what school they need to go to. They know what education they should. They know what meetings they need to show up to. But somehow, at the point of that crux, they don't do it. They miss that opportunity, or they sabotage themselves, or they put themselves down. They hurt themselves. They make stupid decisions that don't act on their own behalf. They beat themselves up afterwards because they don't do it. And then that hamster wheel of self-hate, self-loathing, self-criticism continues. And that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. On the outside, you look like you got it all together. On the outside, people think you got your shiitake together. On the outside, you got this. On the inside, you're still, I'm only as good as my last win. I'm only as good as, what I did before. And now I have to keep up with it, because what are people going to think if I don't come out with another book? I don't know how many people have told me, when are you writing your next book, since this first book did well? Publishers included. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good right now. Happiness is a topic that we have not really completed. So I'm not concerned about the scuttlebutt around, oh, well, she doesn't think she can do another book. Maybe she doesn't think she can get another, who cares? The internal voice that says that's up to me to go, that's not really true. Right? That's not really true. Is that really true? So that's why I wanted today to talk about your success. So whatever level you are at in an organization, that's another thing. You can be successful wherever you are, and you can be unsuccessful wherever you are. And how am I defining success? Success to me is having what you want and wanting what you have, having a feeling 88% of the time that I'm good. That's success. The amount of money you have, well, there's a certain amount of money that can definitely help you be more comfortable so that you can live somewhere with a roof over your head, food in your tummy, money in your wallet, you know, the occasional shopping spree, that feeling. I have $100 in my wallet all the time, $100 bill, not because I want to show it off. I have it in there because one of my teachers, Abraham Hicks, says that your belief system about your abundance will drive what you attract to yourself. So if I have $100, I always know I have the ability to buy a lot of things that I see. Obviously, I'm not going to go to a car dealership. $100 is not going to go far. But for a lot of things, when I'm walking around, $100, I could buy that. Now, I choose not to buy it. So that changes. I don't have enough money, or I can't afford that. I'm so poor I can't even pay attention. Just kidding. I want to begin to, and here's the tool, change my BS, change my belief systems that lead to self-sabotage, that lead to self-loathing, that lead to missing opportunities, that lead to feeling like I'm not good enough. So what is the BS? What are those belief systems? Whatever you're doing, if you could be the president of a company and you can be whatever you're doing, I don't want to distinguish. Everybody does amazing things. I'll use this analogy. I think my big brother gave this to me. I have wonderful teachers in my life. Flowers. So flowers that bloom at the bottom of a mountain are in sight of a lot of different people. So anyone who is on camera, who is in front, who is doing any kind of work that is public, right? You're the flowers at the bottom of the mountain or in that first tier level. You are on site, and you, when you create, when you speak, when you share, whatever you're doing in work, salespeople, advertising people, people that are in front of the scene, when you create, you bloom, you give off that creative vibe, that energy. That is why we live here. We live to create that feeling, that beautiful feeling of being part of life. That's why we're here, to enjoy that, to be one with that. And we do that in front of a lot of people. So those are the people who get recognition, but it does not mean that people who are at the top of the mountain, who are not in sight, thank you for that finger. Those of you in my Kasha gallery, and someone just gave me the finger, not that finger, but this finger and I love when that happens because I know I'm not, talking to no one. But when you're at the top of the mountain and you're creating a vibe, because everybody does. Every time you solve a problem, you're being creative. Everybody has access to that creative power. But whatever you're doing at the top of the mountain, people don't see it. That doesn't mean it's not important. That's why our society and our culture has somehow added to our own distaste for ourselves, which is wrong, not useful. Don't like right or wrong. It's not useful, because if we're always trying to climb that ladder and in that rat race and trying to show that we are, we have so much. I watched The Perfect Couple with my salsa in my love burrito, one of my BFFs, Anne Marie, over the weekend. And that's a perfect example of the energy it takes to pretend, the energy that it takes to show like we've got it all together when we don't. And on top of that, it doesn't bring you the joy and the love and the peace that you're really looking for. So that's my first BS. If you are still believing that you have to gain a certain level in an organization to be successful and you're not there, when are you gonna stop waiting for that to happen to be happy? If you are doing something that you don't like to do for work, right? And you live for your weekends, which are 2 out of the 7 days, which is the minority of the time, when are you really going to be happy? So the solution here is, how can we be happy with what we're doing at whatever stage we're doing it, and if we're doing it in front of a whole bunch of people or not? I'll let that moose drop for a second. Leadership success, personal success, professional success is 100% anchored in your own ability to master you. That's why I'm teaching that course. If you are not good with you, no matter what good things happen, you cannot own them. Okay, so the perfect example of that is you work hard, you do everything that you were told growing up. Go to a good school, you go get a good job, you work up the ranks, you don't get promoted. You're going to be unhappy that entire time that you're in that position until you get promoted, which is not up to you. And even if you got promoted, you're waiting to see if someone else is going to beat you, or someone else is going to sabotage you, or if someone's going to make you look like an idiot, or if you're going to make yourself look like an idiot. It's a really, really uncomfortable, unhappy way to live your entire life 5 days out of 7. And for those who are recovering workaholics like myself, that's 7 days out of 7. And that's what we're not talking about. That's why I'm teaching this course. Can we begin with ourselves to master our own success no matter what we're doing? Can we do that? My answer is yes. So that's a long commercial for taking the course. I'll bring that up in a second. But I hope this is making some sense, especially for those who are listening on LinkedIn. That's my business side. As an organizational psychologist, I do this kind of work when I do change management, when I do strategic planning, when I do corporate culture change, when I do leadership development, leadership effectiveness, learning organization. This is all what I talk about, because we cannot pretend that people keep their professional lives at work and personal lives at home. We're one person. We show up at work, and if something's bothering us at home, it's going to show up at work, and vice versa. So, and if we are coming from that place of insecurity, we are never going to be as effective as we can be. So if you're identifying with this and giving me some thumbs up and nodding your heads, please do contact me, because, well, first of all, take the course. Go to your HR and see if there's any training money in the budget. It's very affordable, but it's a 6-week course, Mondays and Tuesdays for 2 weeks, and Monday and Wednesday for the 3rd week. It starts September 30th. Would love to have you in the class, because I'm going to put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. It's my little moose. We cannot talk about success unless we deal with the foundation of success, which is right here. All right. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We need to pause for station ID, news, traffic, and a word from our sponsors. Don't go away. I'll be right back. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in, peace out.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pei's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, where it houses 1,230 podcast shows. I am known as the Asian Oprah, and I'm so glad that you're here. We are number one talk in the IE. I'm working on more areas, but thank you for tuning in. And today is Monday, and I'm trying to make it not rainy days, and Mondays always get me up. Hashtag UP, unlimited possibilities. I am your cheerleader for a happy life and claiming your birthright to that. Today, we're talking about work, profession, success, leadership, all of those things that are encompassed in the course that I am going to be teaching in a couple of weeks. September 30th is my first class. This is a class not limited to in the past. I was teaching at Anderson, and so you had to be a student to take my class, but they keep pulling me back. I retired from teaching a couple decades ago. Actually, I started at Boston University. Some people don't know that I'm a retired lounge lizard and a retired professor, but I am out of retirement to teach this specific course because it's about time that we talked about personal and professional mastery. And that's the specific title for the class is Leadership, Success, and Happiness. And as far as I know, there's no class on this anywhere. I sort of beta tested this particular class at two universities in Shanghai early this year in June and July. And these concepts, self-care, self-sabotage, self-criticism, perfectionism, they are a human phenomena, not limited by culture. It's not just Americans that have it. The number of nods and the wonderful comments that I had post speaking in China made me even more excited and determined to bring this particular topic to the light everywhere I can. So if you want me to speak at your organization on this, it's really an aha moment. It goes beyond emotional intelligence because it's not just about getting along with other people, which is very important. It's most important. It's about talking about how to get along with yourself. And when you get along with yourself, it's unlimited possibilities. You can be a creative force for your team, for your group, for your family, wherever it is. There's nothing better than living a life where you're 88% happy and you're constantly getting these inspired thoughts to work on something or to create something. And I don't know about you, but if I had a company, I would want at least 80% of my employees to be turned on. Not that way, but turned on with personal and professional mastery. So, of course, deepens traditional leadership effectiveness approach in all of those things to anchor your mastery beyond surface behaviors. Like a lot of times when I used to do leadership development, we would say, you know, I don't care what you think about whatever the minority group was, women, minorities, body size, whatever it is, you're putting on your uniform of this company and you just fake it. And that only, it doesn't work because people's biases come out no matter, you know, what uniform you're wearing. So this goes deeper. I'm going deep for you in this class. I think I have 40 plus students already. I'm so grateful to be part of this series. Thanks to some individuals and especially to return to UCLA to do this course. But you at your leisure, go and do this. The fall schedule, I mentioned, it's just September 30th to October 16th, 6 weeks. It's online. I don't get to give you grades or homework. These are all working execs. So that's good because I can't stand grading. But the course is Unleash Your, this is the whole series. And let's see, this is my all here. And then you can enroll by hitting this. So hopefully I'll see y'all in class. And it also talks about, let's see. And there's the details, and you'll recognize her. All right, back to the topic at hand. I wanted to make sure we talked about perfectionism for a minute because that is a dis-ease with life, a dis-ease with what you're doing, and it afflicts 100% of the people that I've ever worked with. Especially high achievers, especially recovering control freaks. We want to get things perfect. Somehow we believe that perfection is attainable. And I have good news and bad news. You're not perfect. You will never be perfect. And the belief, the BS that you can be perfect, I'm going to speak to the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. We learned that being perfect or close to perfect was a way to be loved. And as a result, we have established a very bad habit of trying to be perfect. And when you are exhibiting symptoms of perfectionism, you will be exhausted because you're always looking for the next compliment. You will be going to love in all the wrong places because you've got antenna up looking for likes. And in social media, that is like literally, you will never celebrate the success that you have because you're always looking at the next thing to master, the next thing to, let's just take other people out of it. You can't give yourself kudos because, well, you know, yeah, but anybody could have done that. Or, yeah, well, that was good, but man, I'll never be able to make up for the stuff that I did before. Or, yeah, it looks that way. And man, boy, do I need to keep that facade up because if people really knew me, they would not think that about me. So it's a trap. Perfectionism is a trap. It will keep you unhappy for the rest of your life. So it's your choice if you want to be a recovering perfectionist or not. All right. So how do you get out of that? Here's the solution. One is, remember that movie, Who's Talking Now? Right? And I know that we're told that if you hear voices in your head, you're going crazy. I'm here to tell you that if you hear voices in your head and you don't know who's talking, then you're going to go crazy, because we all have an internal critic. We all have that voice that says, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said that. How could you have done that? You know you should. Why aren't you talking to that person? You should apologize. Don't eat that Krispy Kreme. So we all have that voice. We all know the sound of that voice. And sometimes it's helpful. Don't cross that street. When we were kids, if we crossed the street, we'd be dead. Don't put your hand on the oven, on the stovetop. If we didn't, we'd have all burnt, scarred hands. So there is some value to the voice. I don't remember which TV, maybe you can help me, those in the chat, which TV where they started with the angel and the devil on the shoulder, right? That voice that says, that's an added component of good and evil. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the voice that tells you to be careful. And though that voice is not a bad voice, right? That's the protector. That critic that we all have. There's only one person that I have spoken to and interviewed who said she does not have that voice in her head. I'm happy for her. But everyone else, I've not met anyone else who doesn't have that voice. They've learned how to work with that voice, which is what I'm encouraging you to do right now. But they have that voice. So when you have that voice in you, start to yabber, right? The first question to ask is this criticism to protect me or to hurt me? That's the first question, because you don't want to kill your critic. There are many people in the self-development industry field that say, kill your critic, throw her out onto the 405, let her get run over, lock her in the trunk of your car. And I'm like, nope, can't do that, because the critic is a part of yourself. Everybody has it. And the flip side of the negative is the protection. So we want to keep the protection, but we do want to stop having the swirling that puts us down. Okay. So the puts us down part, you're smart. You know what those are, but I want you to start writing them down on a piece of paper. Every single time you hear the critic say, you're really not all that, it's too late. You might as well give it up. It's a good thing people think that of you, because that's really not who you are. That success was 10 years ago. What's your latest? Show me your latest. Well, if you were that good, you'd be president by now. If you were that good, you would have gotten that promotion. If you were good, you'd be married. If you were good, you'd be divorced. If you were good, okay? So that part of the critic is what we have to harness, is what we have to put in the passenger seat, or you literally will drive yourself over a cliff before life is really ready to be over. Slip there. I absolutely know that this is a fundamental pivot point if you want to have a happy life. I wrote the book from my own experiences. I was outside looked good, outside looked successful, inside a seething mess, a morass of you're so horrible, you're so ugly, you're so fat, you're so stupid, you're such a self-promoter, you're so all those things. Every single criticism I've ever gotten, the critic grabbed on and would beat me over the head every time, especially if something good happened. As soon as something good happened, the critic would go wham, 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 right? To humble me, to put me in my place, to balance me out. And that critic is not who I am. The critic that you hear in your life is not who you really are. So write down, this is your homework. We'll resume this next week on Monday. What are those statements that your critic says to you? And then I also want you to come up with a name for that person who is that voice, because it is not you. So all of us are balance-centered your name. So I'm balance-centered Dr. Marissa. My critic's name is Rose. Guess what my mom's name was Rose. So I'm not bashing my mom. Definitely not. I'm throwing her a 90th birthday party next week or the week after. So, but I use Rose because it's an easy identifier to immediately say, oh, who's talking now? It is the critic. Is it being protective? No. Is it putting me down? Yes. So then we'll cover next week on Mental Health Matters Mondays, what we do next. Okay. So hopefully that has started this process. I'm basically going to go over some of the concepts in case you cannot take the course. Don't tell UCLA. No, I will for sure love to have you enrolled, but I'll just give you some abbreviated or abridged version of the 3-hour course that I'm teaching each week. And that way you can get a little relief for any of you who are not feeling good about yourselves. That's it for today's show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you continue to tune in every weekday morning for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And it is Tuesday. Tomorrow, I have an interview with HGTV Matt. I was going to say Bledsoe, but that's a football player. He was my favorite football player. I have great memory, horrible recall. Matt will be here tomorrow, as well as the director of another beautiful production with the disabled community, disabled acting community. Wednesday, Doctors in the House. Thursday, Straight Talk with, actually, Thursday is going to be me on the couch with Larry Burton and the Pondera method, fixing my BS around dating. And then Friday, the Hollywood Rebel Report. Keep it here. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be here tomorrow at 9 Pacific time, right after the NBC News. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. See you.